We also ask that we don't have too much horseplay. That includes fishtailing, racing, jumping.
What do you consider too much horseplay? Am I the only one thinking that? Yeah, nobody else. Good boy. Mike, boys up at, oh, some thick wood too. Morning. Let's do it. You guys hear that? It's what you don't hear that really matters. Huh? You can't hear a single car going down a highway or any kind of town hustle and bustle at all. That's awesome. So beautiful out here. I came out here to be quiet. The boys are still sleeping. And I guess I got an email last night. I got to sign some waivers for the side-by-sides. So glad I bought the old laptop. So, buddy. Anyway, so far so good. I could have went without the shot of tequila last night. Let me explain that real quick for the people and for my wife. It probably gives off the wrong impression. So we got in here. Obviously, there's a grill. This is fully furnished with all the dishes and everything to do all the cooking that we want to do here while we're here for the few days that we're here. And this morning, I'm going to cook them breakfast in there here in just a minute after I sign these waivers. But last night, I was like, we didn't get in until, I think, 7. And I told the boys, I said, look, we'll just go down. There's a Mexican restaurant. It's not too far, but when you get into town, $16 on Amazon. Thought I could hide in the woods from all the auto draft stuff that comes out. I'm like, they nickel and dime the shit out of you, dude. Amazon Kid, Audible, Amazon Prime, Amazon this, and Roku that, and Motor Trend this, and dude, there's times that like just $70 just goes missing, and I don't. That wasn't ADHD. That was something else. So I'm like, well, let's go down to this Mexican restaurant and let's just eat us something simple down there, so we don't have to worry about cooking the first night, and then we can get back to the cabin and get settled in. We go down there and there's this lady celebrating her birthday. She had to be like 70 plus years old. And like, happy birthday! And they come out and they put the sombrero on her, and everybody's singing to her, and of course my boys start singing and chiming in on it, and we're just having a good time. And then I hear this guy go, "More tequila!" And my son started laughing, and he was like, "Dad, this guy's pouring tequila in that lady's mouth." And I was like, that's bizarre. And I like turn and I look behind, and I see the tail end of it. And then he starts like walking around the table, pouring shots in people's mouths. And I'm like, okay, maybe they know him or something. Or maybe I'm just not used to the culture, right? The Los Mariachis. I'm explaining to my boys. I'm like, boys, don't ever drink tequila. I hate tequila. My boy's like, Dad, that dude's coming around the whole restaurant, pouring it in people's mouths. And I was like, no, he's not. Because then I'm thinking, somebody's got to pay for it, right? Somebody's got to pay for each one of those shots. I don't know how much a shot of tequila is, but to go around the entire restaurant just pouring it in people's mouths, like, this restaurant must be doing all right. And sure enough, he gets like to the table next to me, and that's when it sinks in that this guy, he's going to try to pour a shot in my mouth. So I throw the phone to my boy, and he's like, "For the vlog, Dad." I'm like, all right. And I said, "We'll film it." And so that's the reason I got tequila poured in my mouth. I wasn't just out just going hardcore drinking with my 2 boys with me. Food was fantastic. Reasonable $80 for me and 2 teenagers. And then I'm like, hey man, there's trails behind the house, and I forgot to bring our flashlight, our rechargeable lights from the house. I said, why don't we just run down into the store down in town and grab a few flashlights and some batteries so that we can have some fresh lights and go down there and just see where the trails go. We go there was a Kroger down in town, and I think I got the receipt on the dash of my truck. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen right here. I got 3 flashlights, some Uncrustables, a 6-pack of Corona, some Eggos, and some little Kool-Aid pouches for them. It was $80, if I remember right. So 80 some dollars. It's just, it's mind blowing, but I don't even want to complain about it, man. I mean, I'm just glad to be out here and I can make it up somehow. I'll figure it out. But I definitely want to start off with that in mind. I want to, and plus, if you look at this receipt, this is a receipt of a single man, and this was a good lesson for those boys because they're getting to that age where pretty soon they're going to be out of the nest and on their own, and if they don't wise up and wife up, that's how you'll be living. It brought back memories for me because I remember, for some reason, without a wife or a woman in your life, you're too stupid to even grab a cart when you go to the store. And so we're all bear hugging, Eggos and sausage and beer or whatever, And I'm like, dude, I laughed for a minute and I was like, this is what it looks like, dude, if you decide that you don't need a woman in your life. I said, I can't maintain. I'd be eating Uncrustables and maple sausage every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I didn't have her in my life, man. So the quicker you realize that, fellas, the better off you'll be. Matter of fact, I want to kind of see what them trails look like in the daylight a little bit that we were going down. Oh, we're down in here somewhere. We went pretty deep down in there. Anyway, man, I better get in here and get this breakfast going before they wake up. I don't want them to be sitting around waiting on me. But, man, last night was awesome, man. We went round and rounds with Connect 4. Had a little tournament set up. And I thought about recording it, but I was like, man, none of us had our phones with us. None of us. My youngest found that Littlefoot or Smallfoot, I can't remember. It's like a cartoon animated type movie. And he was excited about it and wanted to play it. And they won't admit to it, but they were both watching it, which I know, man, everybody, especially men, they want to be old and tough and big grown men. But it was nice to see him kind of letting that guard down a little bit and watching a cartoon and hanging out with dad. I tell you what's even crazier, man. You can do, as a dad, as a man, you can do all kinds of stuff, right? To try to make your son or sons proud of you. I mean, I've managed to work so hard to get where I am as far as career-wise. And I've worked so hard, to get my credit score right, buy us a nice house, keep up with everything. I had to do a lot of work to that pool and that yard to get it the way it was. I remodeled the inside of the home. We've done a few rooms. I've done it with my bare hands, right? Rebuilt engines in front of them, fixed every vehicle issue we've ever had. I've done a lot of things to try to make them boys proud of me. And wouldn't you know, I mean, a 15, 20-second spot on a Roman Atwood video. My son's never looked at me like that. He was like, bro, he was like, dude, he was like, that's sick, man. I was like, yeah, but I'm standing there in a mullet wig with my nipples hard as a rock, dude. and a Tonka, his little brother, right? His little 6-year-old brother's Tonka hard hat. And that's all it took. If I'd have known that, I'd have got that Joe Dirt wig and took an Uber to that laundromat a long time ago. But no, all jokes aside, man, and that was pretty solid of Roman to include that in his vlog, man, because he could have easily just been cut that out. There's millions of people that approach that man every day, and I was really glad. Listen, I was nervous wreck when my son was like, "You're in there, Dad," and I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, I hope the whole conversation that we had, because I wasn't trying to be evasive, but we were talking about careers, and like I said, Roman was talking about how long it took, years and years, before he started seeing like 1,000 views per video. And I felt like he was being genuine when he looked at mine and was like, dude, that's 1,000 views per video. He's like, that's fantastic. and was trying to give me words of encouragement. And I said, yeah, man, this is what I want to do. And I said, it's really hard with what I actually do for a living to do both. And he's like, oh, yeah, what is that? And I was like, I'd rather not say. And it was just his cameraman, Nate, standing right in front of me, filming the whole thing. And I'm like, man, if he puts this in there, I just can't afford to have my business, my company put out there like that. Because you know how these people are, man. It's sad, too, but there's people out there that can't wait to try to ruin something for somebody. But I was like, man, I don't know what all I said. And the point when Roman was like, oh, yeah, I've seen this movie before. That's 8 Mile. I just shouted down. And I was trying to explain this to my son in case it was in the video and it didn't make sense. In the movie 8 Mile, where Eminem's in that metal factory, and I guess it's like big stamp presses or whatever, and there's this guy that I remember going up, down, and the presses would go up and down. So when I'm standing there talking to Roman, and Gil was out there at that point, and his cameraman, Nate, we're all in a circle there, and Roman was like, yeah, you're talking about the movie 8 Mile, right? And I just shouted, down! And then just snapped out of it and moved on, and I was like, man. So they did show me love there by not putting that part in there, but I better quit bull crapping out here and get in here and get this breakfast cooked. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Maybe the next thing will be in side-by-sides, I don't know. You know what? Just for context's sake, I'm going to try to find that clip of that Eminem movie and put it right here. Just because, what if right now I'm saying this and explaining it and that still doesn't make sense? So since you're not in school today, this is the lesson. Earth slides. Oh, can you see down in there? Yeah. Hopefully there's not a homeless guy living in here. Technically, it wouldn't be homeless. He has a cave. That's cool.
Why don't you try to climb through it and go up?
I don't know. I feel like you're going to get really dirty. And we don't have any. We don't have a washer and dryer. Have to go all the way to Newark for the laundromat. Maverick. This is where I signed my life away.
It is. James?
Yep.
Alright. Stop. Slow down. Left turn. Right turn. And I may leave you back behind me. That just means I want you to pull over as safely as possible. Just in case if there is oncoming traffic or traffic coming behind us, we like to let them go by. Another hand signal you'll see me use today is just a trail courtesy. So that's other riders know how many people in our group, and if they do pull over for us, it lets them know how long they have to wait for us to get by. Which I highly doubt we'll see any riders today. We also ask that we don't have too much horseplay. That includes fishtailing, racing, jumping, donuts, anything along that line.
What do you consider too much horseplay? Am I the only one thinking that? Yeah, nobody else.
Down on us.
Oh, okay.
We've had a lot of accidents.
Gotcha.
We've had a lot of people try not to pay the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really don't like no horseplay at all. You can start your engine.
You see, look on his face. I think it's great. It's like hitting the brakes when you let off. Yeah, where's your glasses at? Yeah, windshield would be pretty cool. I can't believe you didn't wear those glasses. Those are sick. We're the only ones that would rent it after the most rain we've ever gotten. Now that floor drain makes sense.
Yeah.
Wonder what they do if there's like a tree down.
Might climb it, honestly. Go over it.
Imagine this is a job.
Amazing.
Yeah. know if it's because it's so muddy or wet. Making it that well. Believe you can just rent somebody's stuff and go on a trail like this.
Right.
Smooth getting sideways. Oh god. Jesus. I thought that was where we got stuck at. We're getting dusted. By something. Yeah, I can see us owning one of these and jamming out.
I love it.
Some good music, just riding on the trail. Is that thing recording?
Yeah.
That felt like a pop tire. I hit that rock hard, dude. Just the second tree that's been down, and we have to divert and try to make a new path, I guess. All right then. Yeah, that. Hey, there's a tree down. We'll just go this way.
Yeah.
This is not the trail. But I like their spirit, dude.
Oh yeah.
Gotta keep on keeping on. Life's garden digging. You know? Dang, dude. Yeah, I like his attitude.
Now we're back on the trail, boys.
Yep.
Now we're back on the trail.
Things have took a turn for the worse. That's how you get lost at sea.
Yeah.
Or lost the trail.
Lost on the trail, son.
What if we keep the little GPS map of where the trees are down?
Awesome.
That was close.
Hey, Philip, say hey to the camera.
water when you're driving down the main road.
See my eyes.
Hell yeah, brother. God almighty. Dude, we're only going 35. That rain is stinging the eyeballs, bro. Yeah, it hurts on it. I love you, son. It's a good time. It's extra for the windshield.
Oh yeah. It is? I was like, what?
Alright, we're turning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that got stuck. That's not cool, is it? We don't get no cool flicking. You got out. I was joking with my son. I was like, our plan was just me to floor it and hit him rock. And then he hollered. He was like, back up just a hair. And it just yeah, it pulled right out of it. I was like, man, no shit. Oh, yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Miserably wet.
Yeah.
Not as wet as him.
I'm not a fan of all these boys getting in my truck.
We got
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Ha! Gay! Dude, is this storming still? Dude, look at that tree. Crap. Can't believe the power went out for a minute. Cole, did the hot tub stop when the power went out? Could you even tell the power went out? He was like, nah, I didn't. So the last couple clips you've seen is probably me and the boys and the trails and the side-by-sides. We had a great time, and I know as you've seen as the video progressed, the storms got worse and worse. There was more and more trees down, and we had to take a lot of alternate routes on the trail. And of course, I was the only one that got stuck, but you know, it helped us get a little bit behind so we can do that catch-up, baby. That was actually the funnest part for me and my son. But unfortunately, the reason for the gap between the time that we were on the trails till now that I'm finally closing this video out is it got pretty scary. Now, I know we're in Ohio, we're nowhere near the center of disaster as far as the hurricane and all that goes, so we really didn't think that we had a whole lot to worry about. Boy, were we wrong. And I don't know what this is going to look like tomorrow, but I just wanted to jump on here real quick, close this video out, and say that I almost abandoned this whole thing altogether because my wife was trying to come up here and meet us at the cabin, and when she left, she could barely get up the highway. And then when we made the call for her to go back home, she couldn't get back to our home because the town was completely flooded. Our really close neighbors are a lot worse off than we are. I'll just say that. And I've already had the conversation with the boys. When we get back to town, we're gonna go visit our neighbors and see what we can do to help. They're literally just 10 to 12 houses down from us, but it's an incline that we live on, and they're completely flooded out. This is the worst floodwaters I've ever seen. I've lived in my hometown for almost 40 years now, and I've never seen anything like this, and certainly wasn't expecting it. And as a man and as a father, it really made me feel the most helpless I've felt in a long time, knowing that my wife and my youngest was there. And guys, if you can imagine your wife calling you and saying, hey, I can't get to the house, and there's a you know, it's completely flooded. There's cars floating in the road to our house. It was super scary, and I come real close to jumping in my truck there, which I know sits a little higher, and it's a 4x4, and I could have, and my thought was, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to get him out of that situation. I don't know how, but I'm going to go do it. And anyway, I'm just rambling at this point, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and I hope if this puts any delay in the daily vlogs that you guys understand. I'm hoping it's not, and hopefully when we get there, we can, maybe that'll be the vlog, is me and my boys seeing what we can do for the neighbors. I'm sure there's something we can do to help dry them out and help them rebuild or something, man. But anyway, I love you guys, and I don't even, I don't even feel the spirits to say, let's pay that truck off, baby. She already said our basement's flooded, which is my son's bedroom, and that our pool is overflowing, so I don't know. I'm not trying to be down, guys, but I appreciate you guys, and, well, let's dry our neighbors up, baby. Woo!